I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and part 2 of the Samsung Galaxy S3 and Samsung Galaxy Note Dogfight starts right now. Back to the browsers on both of these devices, because they are slightly different. Again, you're getting ice cream sandwich over here, gingerbread over here, and it's a little bit optimized differently, or optimized a little bit differently, I should say, for the Galaxy Note. So you can see up here, the bars up top look a little bit different. You have kind of a similar setup here where I can go out and take a look at each individual page. I get a nice little picture where I left off, and I can hit new window, or I can go up here and press plus on the Galaxy S3. So it's easy to access. Pinch to zoom, very responsive over here on the Galaxy S3. Incredibly fast, little to no lag whatsoever. And then of course, portrait to landscape transitions are nice and fast with a decent transition effect. Over here, pretty similar transition effect, a little bit slower, a little bit laggier, but pinch to zoom, overall responsive, and then the transitions aren't too bad at all. You got bookmarks in this, you got a nice dedicated back and forward button, and then over here I have refresh up top, bookmarks, and then my settings look pretty similar, but you can obviously see the menu differences as a result of this being ice cream sandwich and this being gingerbread. Similar shortcuts though: add bookmark, new window, brightness and color, you get desktop view over here, save for offline reading, and then downloads and print and more over here, which you can access on the Galaxy Note as well. The messaging on both of these devices, but before we get into the features of either the Galaxy S3 or the Galaxy Note, special thanks to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game, which we give to you on the site at PhoneDog.com. So when you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you're not going to deal with rebates or paperwork or waiting 8 to 10 weeks to get stupid debit cards back. You're going to walk out the door paying the after rebate price at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look here. So Galaxy S3, Galaxy Note, you can see the messaging interface is a little bit different here, and obviously there have been some changes. One thing I really like about the ice cream sandwich interface, or the new TouchWiz, whichever you want to call it, you can see new message here, but I like this little arrow up top. I like the fact that the navigation's kind of gone at the top, as opposed to hitting back down here. I can still do that over here, but I can physically go and hit the back button right here and easily go back to my previous messages. Otherwise, minor changes. You can see the send button is on top now, and obviously it's an actual little envelope as opposed to physical send. And you can see some differences in the keyboards as well. So obviously 5.3-inch display over here. It's going to be great for people that are coming from a BlackBerry, something from a physical keyboard, maybe a Droid 3, a Droid 2, an original Droid, whatever. And they're migrating up to this, or they're moving over to AT&T, and they want something that has a nice big display. Take a look at this in landscape mode. On both of these devices, Samsung's keyboard's a little bit different, obviously moving from an older version of TouchWiz to a newer version, but we'll say something like the Quick Brown Fox is happy to be at work. Quick Brown Fox is happy to be at work. Portrait to landscape transitions, nice and fast. Again, 4.8-inch display, going to be a little bit more pocketable on this device, and a little bit easier to go from top of the display to the bottom, so you get a little bit more travel on the screen. Easy to type on. Over here, we'll do the same thing. Quick Brown Fox is happy to be at work. Again, a little bit different there, obviously bigger display, much easier to work with. And this is going to be a device, at least with the display size, if you're somebody that watches music videos, you're somebody that's on YouTube all the time, maybe you browse the web a lot, this is going to be a great device for you because of the large display. If you're looking for something as kind of a hybrid between your smartphone and your tablet, this is a great option, and the S Pen is an added value proposition. But again, on screen, I think the keyboard, to me at least, this one's easier to type on just because it's more pocketable, and from an input perspective, it's a little bit easier to type on. Over here, it's a big device, and it gets into like tablet territory when it comes to typing on it or typing out long emails. So that's something to keep in mind. Keyboard access, a little bit different on both of these devices. You get Swipe pre-installed out of the box over here along with the Android keyboard, but notice that because it's the gingerbread keyboard, it looks a little small and funky on this display because of how big it is. Over here, a little bit different. We'll go over here to the menu, select input method, and then I have Samsung keyboard. This is one that I bought from the Android market, or from Google Play rather, ice cream sandwich keyboard donation. So that's something to keep in mind. That's free. There's a free version in Google Play, and then there's a paid version as well. Let's run Quadrant Standard on both of these devices. Take a look at that, because again, older processor over here, 1.5 gigahertz, dual-core Snapdragon S3, quad-core 1.4 gigahertz Exynos processor. Now again, when this comes to the States on AT&T, on Sprint, on Verizon, on T-Mobile, on US Cellular, and on C-Spire actually now, it's going to have a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4. Even under ideal situations, the S4 is much faster than the S3. S3 is a little bit disappointing in the long run. S4 is a really impressive processor from previous devices like the Evo 4G LTE, the 1X. It performs very well. It's actually surprising how well it performs. Call quality on both of these, very decent. Now obviously this is the HSPA Plus version, so I'll tell you battery life's been really, really decent on this device. I can make it about 16 to 18 hours with this device before it requires a recharge. That's with what I would consider to be moderate to heavy use. You know, browsing the web, taking phone calls, doing text messages, downloading apps from Google Play, using maps, things like that. I can make it about 16 hours on this device. Over here, I'd say about 12 hours because you do get a bigger battery over here, but again, a couple of things. You're powering a larger display, and you have AT&T's 4G LTE over here as opposed to HSPA+. LTE, notorious battery hog, and again, it's going to have LTE when it comes to AT&T, when it comes to Verizon, so that's, keep that in mind, that even though the battery life is the same, or the battery size rather is the same on the international version as it is on the States version, battery life's probably going to be worse when the AT&T versions start hitting, so that's something to keep in mind. Over here, already ready to go. International one with the quad-core Exynos processor comes in at, drum roll, sending benchmark results. That's taking too long. And then over here, you can see, obviously, this is the benefit of having LTE. That would start a long time ago. Let's see if we can get it to run. Over here, 2,981, 5,256 over here. So again, quadrant standard, take it with a grain of salt. It's not indicative of day-to-day performance, but if you're a benchmark kind of person, 5,256 is incredibly impressive on quadrant standard. 2,981 over on the Galaxy Note. Now here's where the coins flipped a little bit, and we'll take a look at speed test because this is running LTE right now. This is the international version. It's not. It's running HSPA Plus. We'll take a look here at the two and kind of get a comparison. Again, take this with a grain of salt because it's indicative of network performance, which is not always the best in the world at rush hour, which is about 4 o'clock, which is about right now in Charlotte. So you can see here on HSPA Plus, or actually on HSPA right now, 2.8. It's actually pretty funny to watch this because unlike AT&T's typical devices, this thing actually rotates between HSPA Plus, between HSPA, and between 3G HSDPA. So you can see, let me get it to focus in there. Obviously on HSPA right now, so it's not always showing that 4G indicator. It actually shows you where you're at. So 3.41 over here, about 4 megabits per second, so not that much faster according to this, but LTE I'd say in the Charlotte area isn't the greatest. We don't get those crazy 20 to 30 megabit per second speeds like some other markets do. I've seen it as high as 10 megabits per second in the Charlotte area. That's about as fast as I've seen it, unless you get down to the outskirts, like if you're familiar with the city, Concord areas, things like that. I've seen it as high as about 28 megabits per second. But in the city, you're lucky to get 4, 5, 6 megabits per second on AT&T's LTE. So that's right there on par with what we see in the city. Upload speed's really impressive here though. 4 megabits per second roughly, about 4.2. Upload's pretty terrible over here, 0.15 megabits per second. Let's take a look at the camera on both too. 8 megapixel shooter on both, but I want to highlight the features of the Galaxy S3. And obviously you can see some minor differences to the interface and the way that it looks, but these are some cool features I like about the Galaxy S3. So we can come in here. Burst shot is one of my favorites, and there are a couple of different options. So you get 20 different pictures here, much like the HTC One X. I can hit this shutter button and take 20 pictures, and it'll save all 20. This is a cool feature called Best Shot, which cuts it down to 8. So we'll bring over, actually we'll take a picture of the Galaxy Note, for example, and you can see the city there in my window, see the Bank of America building, and I can just do like that, and let it go and automatically take some on their own. And then I can go into the gallery, and make sure, I can't see this, sorry, I can't see in front of the camera, and then I can find the best shot and go from there, and then cancel when I'm done or save it when I'm done. So a couple of different options there. Then you have HDR and you have Buddy Photo Share. This is cool if all your buddies have Galaxy S3s, you're on a Wi-Fi network, and you're at a party. Let's say each of you take 10 pictures. Well, at the end of the night, thanks to Buddy Photo Share, you'll all have 30 pictures that you walk home with. Another feature that I think is really cool, video camera, and then while I'm shooting, you'll notice that this option to take stills pops up as well, and you can see them loading up down here in the little image snippet there. You can see all the different pictures that I'm taking, and then when I'm done, I'm done. And then over here, same thing, 8 megapixel camera, both have 1080p HD video recording, and they're both relatively impressive. The camera, slight edge actually quite a bit of an edge goes to the Galaxy S3 because of the features, but you can see here, we'll focus in, still a pretty good image quality there, and you can see pinch to zoom, pretty responsive, a little bit of a lag there, but overall relatively responsive, and I can easily see the Samsung logo, and I can see the pen, I can see the text here. So all in all, both are decent, but if you're looking for a good camera, the Galaxy S3 is going to be your device, or the HTC One X if you're not partial to Samsung, or if you prefer HTC, something like that. But very good image quality over here. Now this is a dogfight. One of these has to win, and like anything else in this high-end Android world, it's pretty hard because honestly, if you come to me and you say I need a big screen, I browse the web, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, I'm going to say Galaxy Note because it's got a big display, it's easy to read, and it's easy to type on. If you're looking for incredible camera features, you're looking for ice cream sandwich, you're looking for the latest, the greatest, something that's just really fast with little to no lag, one of the best Android phones I've used all around this year, Galaxy S3. This thing is a really impressive device. Samsung has delivered on it, and it is the winner of the dogfight, the Samsung Galaxy S3. So Note's awesome, processor's a little bit outdated, so keep that in mind. Galaxy S3 is coming soon to AT&T, and we'll take a look at the AT&T one when it comes in as well, and we can see some of the differences between it and the international version. But as for a dogfight winner, Galaxy S3 takes the cake. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with both of these devices. Keep it locked on PhoneDog, on the YouTube page, youtube.com/PhoneDog. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Did you see how slow that was, how it changed over? It was kind of interesting to see it change at different times, considering they're both on AT&T. That's just me getting sidetracked. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Let me know which one you like. Maybe you have the Note and absolutely love it, and you're running some rooted, version of software. You're doing some sort of hacks or tweaks that make it a great device, or even better than what it was out of the box. Let me know, PhoneDog_Aaron, or if you have the Galaxy S3, I'd love to hear from you on Twitter. Be sure to follow us for continuing coverage of both of these devices on the site at PhoneDog.com. Thanks so much for watching. More to come on Samsung's popular and iconic Galaxy S3. We'll see you next time.